Hey guys, what's up? This is Hex, and in today's video I wanted to talk about my most anticipated game for 2019. I debated on whether or not to really do this video because, obviously, New Year's Day. I don't think this video is really going to get that many views at all, and of course, especially with the last video where I had to release a little bit earlier because Christmas was rolling around. So the views on that video weren't that great either. So I'm thinking, with that in mind, I'm going to extend out my timetable. Because as you recall, I was going to uh, do, I think it was like a month or a month and a half of like just doing a trial just to see with whether or not that should I continue on with doing this YouTube videos or not. Um, to see if if I'm able to get more views by just trying different things or what have you. And so with that said, I'm just going to go ahead and talk about my most anticipated game, and that is Cyberpunk 2077. Now, this game, particular to me, Cyberpunk in general has a bit of a special connection because back in the day, and this has been many many years ago, I used to play the actual pen and paper tabletop game Cyberpunk 2020. Big fan of that. Now this was coming off of I used to play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons, and just various games like that. And to kind of get into something like Cyberpunk to me was just amazing because it was like a different world, a different genre. And I can't really remember when I started playing it. I remember I was out of high school. I remember that much, and I remember a friend of mine was still in high school. He might have been in the last year. So I kind of really want to say very early '90s at least. But we used to have a blast playing that game. I mean, an absolute blast. He would make his character. I would run the game, but I would also have an NPC to help him. But he would make the decisions because obviously I couldn't because I'm running the game. But we had to have it sort of balanced, to make it a little bit more fun to play. If you have that few people. Um, but we would spend like long hours in the night just playing that game. Sometimes we'd pass out like in our chairs and then wake up and just kind of continue on with it. It was kind of funny. Uh, but I actually still have, to this day, I have all my Cyberpunk books still. They're tucked away in boxes somewhere, but I still do have them. And occasionally, if I'm like a half price books, I'll see like an older, Cyberpunk maybe module or something like that, and I'll just grab it really quick. Uh, because those are usually, you don't really usually come by those that often. But anyway, some time ago when they announced Cyberpunk 2077, I was at first I couldn't believe it. I was like, really? They're actually doing this? And it just seemed to come out of nowhere because I never really thought of Cyberpunk, 2020 being really that popular. Now Shadowrun, which as many of y'all know, combined like Cyberpunk and fantasy, was much more popular than that. But or at least from my viewpoint, it was. And of course, they came out with games for that. But I never really was interested in Shadowrun. I mean, the concept is cool and all, but I wanted to get away from that fantasy element. That's why I like not that there's anything wrong with fantasy, but I wanted to kind of get away from that to kind of go into something new, like Cyberpunk. And like I said, when I announced it, I was kind of flabbergasted at first, and then the more they did interviews with the creator, they were showing footage like the trailer, and then showing like actual gameplay footage. I became a believer because they had the world right. They had the technology. Of course, it's kind of advanced since it goes from like 2020 to 2077. But they had like the slang right and everything, and I was like, this is freaking amazing because they've literally taken the pen and paper concept and put it correctly into video game form. Because sometimes it's kind of iffy or whether or not it's going to work. But in the case of this, it actually seems to work. I guess we'll know when we get the actual final version of the game. But I'm truly confident in CD Projekt Red, the developers that are going to be doing this game, because Witcher 3, and I'm sure some of you have played it, is an absolute beast. I mean, it's a great game. And I'm truly confident that they're going to, make Cyberpunk, a really good game as well. Now, I know some people complained a bit about it being first person, but I don't mind it, because I feel like that just immerses you. It immerses you more, because it seems to me like if you were third person, you kind of distance yourself away from it a bit. But when you're in first person, it kind of immerses you in whatever you're playing even more. But yeah, I feel that it's actually going to be a really really good game, and I'm super stoked for it to come out. But that's all I wanted to talk to you guys for today. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and please subscribe if you haven't done so already. And I hope to talk to you guys real soon. Take care.